Time Check, brought to you by BioStrath Immune with added zinc. Distributed by H&J Enterprises Limited.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the 7 o'clock news on CNC3. I'm Ria Rambali.
I'm Ryan Bachu.
I'm Jovan Ravello with sport.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed with your weather report.
Let's tell you what's making the news tonight.
The Hadids. Obviously relieved, as we all are. It's been a long journey, as you can all imagine.
Freed at last and reunited with their children after the Homeland Security Minister lifts PDOs against Dominic and Genevieve Hadid following a total review of their case.
The opposition demands independent investigation into government's abuse of PDOs, saying heads must roll.
Body of 5-year-old Brittany Palacio recovered after a migrant boat carrying dozens of people capsized off Losiro. 2 people are still missing.
In sport, Carifta 2027 finally finds a home as Guyana steps up to fill the void.
Hazy sunshine today, but how long before the tropical moisture takes over? I've got details on this and more in the full forecast.
After 30 days behind bars, businessman Dominic Hadid and his wife Genevieve have been released. Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander today revoked their preventive detention orders, but says the criminal investigation into an alleged assassination plot continues.
The Hadids were arrested on June 24th as part of an investigation into an alleged plot to assassinate the Prime Minister and senior members of her government. Alexander says the investigation has expanded across multiple jurisdictions and continues with the support of local and international law enforcement agencies. 3 days after the arrests, he issued PDOs under the emergency powers regulations. The minister says he kept the detentions under review and considered the review tribunal's recommendation that they were no longer necessary and took into account a medical report on Dominic Hadid. He says Hadid declined an examination by an independent state-appointed specialist. Alexander also says the Privy Council's decision not to fast-track the state's appeal meant the couple could have remained in prison until the end of the state of emergency. He says that would have been disproportionate.
The Hadids will remain under police monitoring, and Alexander says he expects them to cooperate with investigators as the probe continues. When contacted for more on his decision, the Homeland Security Minister said, quote, "No comment today," end quote.
Now the couple's relative, Star Sabga, remains in police custody, and her matter comes up in court tomorrow. At the Hadid's West Moorings home, relatives, friends and neighbors have been gathering as the couple is finally reunited with their 3 children.
Jensen Leven has been outside the seafront property. Let's check in with him.
Relief was the word repeated time and time again outside the West Moorings home of Dominic and Genevieve Hadid as relatives and close friends gathered to welcome the couple back after 4 weeks in detention. Family friend and businessman Peter George said the focus now isn't on the legal battle ahead, but on reuniting with loved ones and beginning to heal. It's been a long journey, as you can all imagine, and obviously they're relieved. And certainly there's a sense of family reuniting with their family after 4 weeks, and there's a certain sense of contentment in their family now. So at the very least, they're just obviously extremely happy to be home.
And in terms of health-wise?
Yes, I mean, obviously there were some challenges in the last, 4 weeks, certainly when it came to Dominic, but he's in good spirits. And I guess at the right time, the appropriate family medical practitioners will look at him and ensure everything is in good order. But looking at him, he's certainly in good shape and in good spirits. What is one of the first things that the family or the Hadids planned to do, having been released? Again, right now, it's just spend time and build back the love and the relationship and the time lost. I mean, 4 weeks of time lost is 4 weeks of time lost any way you want to look at it. So right now, it is just that. Throughout the afternoon, CNC3 News observed a steady stream of visitors entering and leaving the Bayshore property. Most declined to speak on camera, while one woman asked that the media give the family their privacy. Among those who visited was former Attorney General Faris Alwari, one of the Hadid's attorneys. The scene stood in sharp contrast to just days ago when a police mobile unit sat outside the home as part of the couple's court-ordered house arrest conditions. Those conditions have since been lifted. And as for the police mobile unit, that has since been removed. Jensen Lavend, CNC3 News, Bayshore.
All right, thank you so much, Jensen. And Attorney Faris Alwari spoke with the media a short while ago, saying the revocation of the Hadids' PDOs means there are no restrictions against the couple.
He further explained this means they are not under house arrest. Senior reporter Shane Superville was at the news conference a short while ago and brings us the latest.
While businessman Dominic Hadid and his wife Genevieve Hadid are free, their matters are still very much active and before the courts. That's one of the main points that came out of a media briefing hosted by their attorney Faris Alwari at Altus Courts this afternoon. Another main point coming out of the discussions was the fact that the Hadids are no longer under police monitoring. They no longer have to seek the permission of the police commissioner to receive medical attention, to have guests, or to conduct any of their basic affairs. According to their attorney, they can proceed to go about their business and go about their lives as normal, notwithstanding the fact that they continue to have several matters active before the courts.
With the revocation of that, it is a complete return to liberty. There are no conditions attached to that. This is not home detention. This is none of those things. It is a complete revocation, and arguably a revocation of the very grounds, because you only revoke if the grounds no longer exist.
Now, Attorney Faris Alwari declined to comment further on whether or not the couple will be seeking any additional legal action for damages at this particular time. He was very careful to avoid speculating, and he did not go into much details as to the medical or the psychiatric condition of his clients, notwithstanding the fact that, according to a media release from the Ministry of Homeland Security earlier this afternoon, that health was one of the grounds considered by the minister.
The government asked for a review of Mr. Hadid's medical condition by a neurosurgeon. Well, then we as his attorneys, after taking advice, respectfully declined that, because a neurosurgeon is not a neurologist. There are only 2 neurologists that can speak to this issue. The person who was recommended by the state was not qualified to do the job.
All right, thank you very much, Shane, for your reporting. The People's National Movement is demanding an independent investigation into the government's use of emergency powers. Party Chairman Marvin Gonzalez claims the couple's release proves they were detained without evidence, calling the 2026 state of emergency a political fabrication. The opposition is now demanding the immediate resignation of both Attorney General John Jeremy and the Minister of Homeland Security, Roger Alexander.
Now, the opposition chief whip is at this evening's PNM's meeting at Balize House, where the couple's release is expected to take center stage.
Jesse Ramdew is there. He joins us now with an update.
Ryan Aria, party supporters have gathered for what is expected to be a significant political meeting here at Balize House. It's particularly notable because it comes just over a week after PNM's General Secretary, Buster Cummings, was served with a court order compelling the party to provide financial and other records to explain the funding of the multi-million-dollar construction of this very building. Now, the PNM has strongly rejected the move, describing it as a politically motivated witch hunt. Now, party members are also expected to respond to another major development unfolding this evening. That, of course, being the revocation of the preventative detention orders issued against businessman Dominic Hadid and his wife Genevieve by the Ministry of Homeland Security. Earlier, the PNM had called for both Attorney General John Jeremy and Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander to resign over the handling of the matter. Now, joining Joining me is Party Chairman Marvin Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez, good evening and thank you so much. Does this development, vindicate the PNM's earlier position as it pertains to PDOs and under the state of emergency?
So thank you very much, Jesse. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Thanks for the opportunity to speak on this very important development and this very important matter. As you have rightly indicated, we have been expressing some serious concerns about the state's use of PDOs. I have raised this matter on several occasions in the Parliament, asking the Minister of Homeland Security how many of those persons who have been incarcerated on PDOs have been charged and placed before the court on criminal offences. The Minister has continuously resisted presenting that information before the Parliament. He has invoked standing orders of Parliament, resisting the information going into the public domain. We kept answering the question because the information that was brought to our attention, that the vast majority of those persons have been incarcerated, they have been released, and they have absolutely no continuing investigation to justify their continued incarceration and imprisonment at the hands of the state. What transpired today is not surprising to us. We have consistently called for an immediate and transparent investigation because it is quite clear to us that the government is using the system of PDOs to incarcerate persons and persons who they cannot prefer or bring criminal charges against. That is not what our understanding of the state of emergency was called for in the very first place. And if you look at information or the lack thereof of information coming from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, you would see that there is a declining numbers of persons who have been arrested on warrants and placed before the court. And on a regular basis, you are seeing persons being detained on preventative detention orders. That is because the police service, unfortunately, is not doing what it's supposed to do from an investigative standpoint, to put persons on criminal charges and put them before the court so that they can be held to account for their behavior. It is a very serious development, and therefore, again, I wish to reiterate the call that I've made earlier on today, that this development, the Minister of Homeland Security and the Minister and the Attorney General should be immediately removed from office, and perhaps the Commissioner of Police should also consider whether he should tender his resignation to the Police Service Commission, because none of these things could have happened without the involvement of these three gentlemen.
All right, Mr. Gonzalez, thank you so much. And I'd imagine more on this will be discussed on the stage tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, so reporting from Balize House, I'm Jesse Ramdale. Ryan and Ria, it's back to you.
Appreciate your reporting, Jesse. Meanwhile, former Police Commissioner Gary Griffith is also calling for heads to roll. According to Griffith, the Homeland Security Minister should be fired immediately, arguing the decision to detain Dominic and Genevieve Hadid for weeks, only later to revoke their PDOs, amounts to incompetence at the highest level.
He warns taxpayers could now face millions of dollars in legal claims and said someone other than the public must pay the price. Griffith also questioned the intelligence used to justify the detentions. He says if the evidence was credible, investigators should have been able to turn it into criminal charges.
Credible intelligence could be a Minister of Homeland Security speaking to someone in the SSA, because the SSA is a politically appointed tool of the government. Most of the persons appointed there. Someone could just write a report, submit it to the minister, and you can lose your right to freedom. This is no different, before people decide to jump on this bandwagon and what I'm stating, this is no different to the last administration when the previous Minister of National Security gave instructions for the police to kidnap Brent Thomas. What we have seen here is the Minister of Homeland Security virtually getting authorization to kidnap the Hadids.
He again called the law allowing a minister to order PDOs based on intelligence dangerous and said Alexander's handling of the matter has embarrassed the government.
So we asked on the back of that story, do you believe the Homeland Security Minister should be fired or at least held accountable for his handling of the Hadid matter?
Here's what some of you had to say.
I feel yes, he should be fired, because you just blame somebody for doing something and all of a sudden just so you come and release the person without a reason or without a charge or whatever. That's not sounding nice. He should be investigated, because if it is said they get locked up for a certain incident or issue or whatever it is, how come all of a sudden, as you said quietly, they just get revoked and that's it? So he should be investigated.
The most we could do is just wait and see how it is out. At this moment, no, because I don't have enough information, but I think he was under some orders to do what he has to do.
I think things should be put in place to investigate and to actually prepare and not just jump to conclusions and not to go react to certain things, but not fired.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see the outcome, see what he has to say about it, and we'll take it from there.
Meanwhile, the Assembly of Southern Lawyers is welcoming the decision to revoke the Hadiz's PDOs.
President Cyril Lakan says the move highlights the need for strict legal oversight during the state of emergency. She is urging the public to avoid speculation as police continue to investigate an alleged plot of assassination.
The minister's decision underscores the importance of ensuring that emergency powers remain subject to continuous review and are exercised in a manner that is lawful, necessary, and proportionate.
Now, the minister's decision also changes the state's legal strategy.
That's right. The Privy Council said it could not hear the state's appeal on an urgent basis and instead suggested the Hadids ask the appeal court to lift the stay that had blocked their release. Their attorneys were preparing that application when the minister revoked the detention orders. The couple also secured another legal victory today. The appeal court agreed to urgently hear their constitutional claim, alleging they were targeted because of their ethnicity and challenging the termination of their state land leases. The judges also repeated calls for both sides to work together to ensure Hadid receives the medical treatment he needs. Workers at the Hadid's Blue Waters business say they remain focused despite the latest legal developments involving the company's owner.
When CNC3 News visited the company's Tacarigua plant this morning, one employee who asked not to be identified said there was no sense of alarm among the staff. He said workers remained focused on their day-to-day responsibilities and that operations at the facility have continued uninterrupted. While other employees declined to comment, trucks and other vehicles were seen moving in and out of the compound throughout the morning, suggesting normal business activity at the plant. Workers at Hadid's company Blue Waters say they aren't concerned over the latest legal developments. An employee speaking on the condition of anonymity said there was no overwhelming concern among his colleagues as they are focused on daily tasks, noting that operations at the factory continued as normal.
Still to come in the news, Indian High Commission facing backlash over controversial date event, with the Emancipation Support Committee calling on India to withdraw its High Commissioner.
And later on in sport, Trinidad and Tobago's Premier Football League is set to kick off in September.
In the ever-changing media landscape, we at Guardian Media strive always to put you, our viewers and readers, first.
We strive to uphold the time-honored tenets of responsible journalism.
For us, accuracy is key.
And in our reporting, we strive not only to be first, but fair,
impartial,
and to uphold journalistic integrity.
Above all, we are accountable to you, and we must respect the views of our audience. That is our solemn contract with you.
Keen attention to detail.
Rigorous verification of facts.
Keep track of our editorial policies and guidelines, including our corrections policy, by logging on to www.guardian.co.tt for more.
More people have been placed under preventive detention orders under the Emergency Powers Regulation.
Among those detained are people from Enterprise, Cocorite, Laventille, Lopino, Blanchisseuse and La Brea, allegedly linked to the 7 Gang, North Coast 6 Gang and other informal organized crime groups.
The orders also allege involvement in shootings, robberies, home invasions, witness intimidation, human trafficking and the theft and concealment of stolen vehicles.
A journey home ended in tragedy for a group of Venezuelan migrants after the pirogue they were traveling in capsized off Trinidad's southwestern coast.
This morning, the body of 5-year-old Brittany Palacio was found along the shoreline at Lucero Beach. She was one of 6 children on board the vessel, which was carrying 29 people. An adult male was also found dead, while 2 others remain missing. Chetika Singh and Sasha Wilson bring us more.
The body of 5-year-old Brittany Palacios found along the rocky shoreline of Lucero Beach in Erin this morning. She was among 29 Venezuelan migrants, including 6 children, who left Trinidad's southwestern coast on Wednesday in a pirogue headed home. But the journey ended in tragedy when the vessel capsized. The Coast Guard found the body of an adult man floating near the shore along the same stretch of water on Wednesday.
We know from yesterday 1 adult male body was recovered, and we visited the area at 6 a.m. this morning, and at 7:22 a.m. we located the body of the 6-year-old girl whose name is Brittany Palacio.
Captain Valence Rambarat says the girl was traveling with her mother and grandmother, who were among the survivors who swam to shore.
No relatives were here. They were working through us. Baby Brittany Palacio, her body was identified by a picture I sent to the parents, and they are in contact now with the police.
Rambarat says the vessel encountered engine problems shortly after leaving the shore. But initial police reports indicate the vessel was not departing but arriving when it struck a rock and capsized.
But we have information from survivors of the incident who were able to work with us through the Venezuelan migrant community leaders to indicate to us exactly what happened.
He says the tragedy underscores the dangers of overcrowded boats being used to transport migrants between Trinidad and Venezuela.
The ordinary fishing pirogue ought not to be used to transport 29 persons. The weight alone of 29 persons plus their luggage, that's overload, and difficulties would arise. This is not the first incident with Venezuelan migrants being, finding themselves in difficulty at sea. And the Guyanese incident and the incident with the St. Vincent's 7th vessel recently means that we have to step up in terms of our maritime policy and maritime laws to ensure that there's compliance for all marine vessels operating within our waters.
Among the personal belongings scattered along the shoreline are children's toys, clothing, and footwear, grim reminders of the tragedy. Searches were carried out for 2 other adults, but they have since been accounted for, and the location of the vessel is unknown as investigations continue. CNC3 reached out to the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard and the Ministry of Defense and Minister Wayne Sturge for comment, but no responses were received up to news time. Sasha Wilson, CNC3 News.
The Emancipation Support Committee is tonight considering asking India to withdraw its High Commissioner to TNT, Dr. Pradeep Singh Rajpurohit, over the scheduling of an open house for members of the Indian community and diaspora on Emancipation Day. The event, originally planned for August 1st, was later moved by the Indian High Commission to August 8th, with the Commission saying August 1st is already a public holiday. ESC Director of Public Education and Communication, Dr. Asha Kambon, said the decision was disappointing and showed what she described as a lack of understanding of TNT's history and culture. Former Culture and Community Development Minister Randall Mitchell had also criticized the original date, writing to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi requesting a review of the conduct of the High Commissioner. Mitchell said while the High Commission had a right to engage members of the Indian diaspora, there were 364 other days on which the event could have been held without creating the appearance that the significance of African Emancipation Day was being overlooked. Kambon said the issue was not about the High Commission hosting a diaspora event, but about choosing a day that commemorates the end of slavery and the struggle for freedom and dignity.
It
seemed as if it was withdrawn without even the acknowledgement of African Emancipation Day, August 1st. And that's very tragic because, of course, the history of emancipation in the English-speaking Caribbean is that at the end of that long struggle for the dignity and the freedom of people who were enslaved.
The Indian High Commission has not indicated whether the rescheduling of the event was linked to the criticism. Our calls and messages to the Indian High Commission have gone unanswered up to news time.
In business news, Trinidad and Tobago has kept its investment-grade credit rating, but one economist says the government shouldn't overlook the warning that came with it.
Meanwhile, a fresh US $10 million financing facility is now available for local SMEs, but Development Finance Limited says money isn't the biggest hurdle facing business owners.
Andrea Perez-Sobers has more in tonight's Business Watch.
Government is welcoming Standard & Poor's decision to affirm Trinidad and Tobago's BBB- sovereign credit rating. But economist Dr. Marlene Atz says the full report tells a more cautious story. While retaining investment-grade status reflects the country's external strengths, including the Heritage and Stabilization Fund and expectations of stronger gas production, she notes the negative outlook remains firmly in place. Dr. Atz says that means SMP still sees a significant risk of a downgrade over the next year if structural weaknesses are not addressed.
And some of these structural weaknesses include slow economic growth, the gradual erosion of the fiscal and external buffers, the fact that we continue to draw down on the Heritage and Stabilization Fund, and of course the overarching concern that the credit rating agency has in terms of the country's continued dependence on the energy sector and our limited success in terms of diversification.
Atz adds the country must also keep a close eye on its fiscal position, pointing to rising debt obligations and continued withdrawals from the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. Turning to other business news, for many small businesses, getting a loan is often seen as the biggest challenge. But Development Finance Limited says the real issue starts long before an application reaches the bank. The company made the point as the Caribbean Development Bank signed a fourth line of credit with DFL, unlocking another US $10 million to support investment across manufacturing, agriculture, tourism, renewable energy, energy efficiency, and the creative industries. DFL Chief Executive Officer Gary Awai says while financing remains available, many businesses are still struggling to secure approval because their business models are not strong enough to support long-term.
It's much more deeper. As a development bank, we want to work with you to identify risks and help you to find solutions to manage and mitigate those risks. So sometimes people don't like that hard truth. They want to just lend me the money and make it work. For us, it's about helping you to build a strong business model. And that is only with the help of CDB and ourselves, we believe we can make that possible.
Lisa Hardin, Division Chief at CDB's Private Sector Division, is examining the possibility of offering financing in local currencies. And now for a look at today's energy and foreign exchange prices. Andrea Perez-Sobers, CNC3 Business Watch.
Let's tell you what's still to come in the news. First choice school, first published book, and an inspiring achievement from an 11-year-old with big dreams.
What hidden creatures are revealed in the deep wonders of Trinidad and Tobago? We find out together right after the break.
For over 4 decades, Nagico has been a steadfast partner, enabling communities and businesses across Dutch, English, and French-speaking territories within the Caribbean and also France. Every policy we provide is a promise to help with managing the uncertainties of life. Beyond insurance, we're committed to uplifting our communities through sponsorships and initiatives. We're a people-centric, purpose-driven organization dedicated to building a brighter future.
AM Best rated us A-, excellent for financial strength.
Textbooks, screens, late nights. Your eyes work hard through every class, exam, project, and deadline. Ferrara Optical has eyewear specifically designed to reduce eye strain so nothing holds your learning back. For a limited time, youth get a free frame with lenses from just $495. Scholars get frame and lenses starting at only $750. And lifelong learners save up to 30% off your purchase of advanced lenses like Eisen and Transitions. Less strain, more focus. Your vision without limits. Visit Ferrara Optical in store today. This promotion is NLCB approved.
KC Ginger Mint, your trusted and natural wellness. Now with healthier options. KC Ginger Mint with honey and lime. KC Ginger Mint with orange and KC Ginger Mint with lemon. KC Ginger, honey, lemon, lime, and orange. Natural and trusted for generations for soothing sore throats and digestion and boost immunity. Get your new KC Candy Ginger Mint extended range today and breathe naturally.
Most students spend their SEA year focused on textbooks and examinations, but one 11-year-old boy from South Trinidad also found time to publish a book.
Today, he's celebrating becoming an author and passing for his first choice. Here's Radhika De Silva and Ivan Tulsi with more.
At just 11 years old, Veer Ramlakan of Williamsville has proven that academic success doesn't have to come at the expense of your passion. While studying for the SEA examination at Reform Hindu School, he pursued a personal passion.
He came up with the idea and he told us, we are going to work on a book, Dad, and he has the idea and he's going to lay it out. And I was like, you know, you're studying for SEA and now is the peak time. And he's like, we have the idea and we're going to do this now.
The book features original illustrations that teach children about Diwali, Trinidad and Tobago's unique traditions, festivities, values and life lessons, while encouraging creativity, kindness and cultural pride. But with Diwali being his favorite time of the year, the Diwali Nagar became a central part of his storytelling.
My greatest experience has been going to the Diwali Nagar during Diwali.
Veer says he hopes to inspire others to pursue their passions, even if they fail.
Never give up, even if they fail, to always keep going.
His mother, Gail, says Veer's love for culture expanded as he researched his book.
He's really focused on his schoolwork and his knowledge. He has a lot of knowledge. He's gained a lot of knowledge while studying.
Counselor for his community, Vincent Ragu, who attended the book launch at the Nalles Library in Debe, said the entire community has celebrated Veer's accomplishment.
From him publishing this book, that age doesn't matter. You can become what you want at any age once you put your mind to it.
As Veer prepares for Naparima College, he hopes his first book will inspire other children to dream big, work hard, and never be afraid to turn their talents into something extraordinary. Radhika De Silva, CNC3 News.
Yeah, such a great vision for a young boy. And you're an author as well, Ryan.
I'm so proud of him.
Well, the outpouring of support continues for a San Fernando family with no electricity.
A day after CNC3 News highlighted their plight, TNTech officials mobilized by Public Utilities Minister Barry Pidarath visited the family's home in San Fernando to do an assessment. Corporation Chairman Anil Kamal, who received a report this afternoon, confirmed that the house needs to be wired, inspected, and then connected. A charitable group, the Random Kindness Crew, has already offered to do the wiring for free. The Shaw Foundation and the Glimmer of Hope Foundation have both pledged assistance for the family. Today, the proud mother, Adriana Nur, whose daughter passed for her first choice school despite having no electricity to study, expressed gratitude for the overwhelming support.
I feel good because, at the end of the day, to buy all these things is money, and at this situation is a lot of money, and I hardly working, hardly have, so yeah. And I'm happy, I'm pleased, but thanks for who wanted to support, who have intention of supporting.
Anyone wanting to assist the family can contact Nur at 376-3159 or make a donation to Adriana Crystal Nur, First Citizens Bank San Fernando Branch, Savings Account 223-9479. Sigoni's back. Sigoni, we have a big GML football tournament tomorrow afternoon. Will the guys be playing in rain? Will they be playing in sun?
Well, rain doesn't stop football, right?
Well, true.
Only cricket.
Only cricket. But from weather at the surface to life in the darkness thousands of meters below. Check this out. Among the latest creatures spotted this week is the vampire squid, adding to a growing list of deep-sea life documented by scientists aboard the Falcor 2. Now, remember the wonders of Trinidad and Tobago deep-sea expedition, which began on June 29th, continues until June 28th, and is continuing to turn up some fascinating finds like this skate, not to be confused with a stingray, and this squat lobster. It looks like a spider crab, right? But it's not. He's right now looking like he's just ready to fight any day, anytime. And we will continue tracking the expedition for you as it goes on. And remember, you can also follow along on the Schmidt Ocean Institute's YouTube feed. And we're going to move now from conditions in the deep to what's happening in the skies. Because if you have plans tomorrow, guess what? Moisture and instability is starting to roll in across Trinidad and Tobago finally, after we've been dealing with so much dust haze over the last couple of days. What we're seeing now is that into this evening's forecast, that tropical wave that we've been monitoring is now going to start to creep into the general area. And if you're in Tobago, look out for some isolated showers and thunderstorm activity just after midnight, because the tropical wave will start to move in for Tobago first and then push westward and impact Trinidad into early tomorrow morning. Temperature-wise, hey, it's nice and cool out there into this evening's forecast, but tomorrow it could still be quite warm. We also have, in addition to this tropical wave that's rolling in, Saharan dust haze as well. So it's still going to make the atmosphere look dull and gloomy and even dismal. But while all of this is happening on the eastern side of the Atlantic, over onto the western side, we are still very much tracking Tropical Storm Bertha, which right now is making landfall in parts of Texas. So we're continuing to monitor what is happening in the Atlantic. No other tropical cyclonic development, though, is expected for the next 7-day period. But closer to home, tropical wave action for us means an increase in clouds and showery activity. We could see some isolated heavy downpours in Trinidad in the afternoon period. Along western and southern portions of Trinidad, we could see thunderstorm activity, whereas Tobago gets that early morning heavy downpour, so have the umbrella on hand when you're commuting. Again, the temperatures will stay into the warm side, so you want to take note as to what's happening there where the temperatures are concerned. If you're heading offshore now, conditions remain unchanged. Winds are still pretty much within a general range of the east to east-southeasterly direction and building at times, with waves not really going beyond 1.5 meters in open waters, but around 1 meter within the nearshore and sheltered areas. And with showers at play, it's going to be a little bit choppy out there, so exercise caution. Unless you are like this guy who's just relaxing out in the sea. Look at that red crab. He looks a little bit like Christmas at this time of the year. But it's a small crab. It's just zoomed in, really big.
It looks like he celebrates Christmas all year through. But that's a really nice picture.
He's a happy crab from the deep wonders of the ocean right here in Tobago.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Tobago, interesting. Well, you know, Tobago is known for its crab and dumplings.
Not eating
so sorry
crab.
to do that, but yeah. But Sigoni,
are you wondering how he will taste?
Yes, I am. And also wondering about this vampire squid.
Squid.
Can I Google him as yet?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely going to look out for some fans. Thank you so much, Sigoni. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
to Jimmy Boo Super Serious July Sale for seriously super-sized saving. Get the year's biggest savings yet on textile, curtains, home goods, and much more. Seriously, shop the Super Serious July Sale today at Jimmy Boo in Barataria and Port of Spain.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. You can live your dream, join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve. Big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Move from CXC to your business management degree in just over 2 years with the globally and ACTT recognized ABE qualification at CTS College. Students with limited CSEC passes or mature candidates with work experience can enroll. Each level can be completed in under 6 months, with a diploma awarded upon completion of each level and a bachelor's degree awarded at the end of the entire program. Contact CTS College today and ask about our flexible payment terms.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors, and roti makers. Try our high-quality bromate-free, all-purpose, and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg, and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canoopia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Welcome back. The Trinidad and Tobago Seabridge Truckers Limited is calling for stronger collaboration among the agencies responsible for moving cargo between Trinidad and Tobago.
The appeal came as the newly formed organization officially launched and outlined its vision for improving the inter-island cargo service. At the launch yesterday at the cruise ship complex, President Nicholas Manswell said the group was created to give truckers a voice while improving communication among key stakeholders. Those include the Port Authority, the Trinidad and Tobago Inter-Island Transportation Company, the Tobago House of Assembly, and the Ministry of Works.
Let me make one thing abundantly vivid. We are not an adversary. We are partners in national development. Our objective have never been confrontational. Our objective is collaboration. We believe that when truckers are included in decisions, better decisions are made, operations become more efficient, businesses prosper, and ultimately the people of Trinidad and Tobago benefits.
Manswell also urged truckers, freight operators, and businesses that rely on the inter-island cargo service to join the association, saying its success will depend on the unity and participation of its members. Well, it's now time for sport. And the West Indies has a selection headache. Jovan?
It seems so, Ria. The test team is in Taruba, but Coach Sammy says he's still unclear about his playing 11. And Ecuador's Richard Carapaz wins his first stage at this year's Tour de France. Sport is up next.
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chaguanas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in Trinidad and Tobago, driven by 2 silent threats, diabetes and high cholesterol. But now there's a powerful ally, introducing Berberine Plus by Asia Nutrition, clinically proven to stabilize blood sugar and keep cholesterol levels in check. With 99.9% pure extract, you get superior absorption and real results. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus. Your heart deserves better.
The best eyewear this summer is at Seaview Optical. Buy 1 complete clear single vision glasses for $499. Get the second pair free. Or get progressive transitions with designer frames for only $1,399. The best in luxury eyewear. All exclusively available at Seaview Optical.
7 p.m. Sports News, brought to you by Tattle and Tattle Life.
Welcome back. Sport now. There are reports that Guyana is set to host the 2027 Carifta Track and Field Championships from March 26th to the 29th, ending months of uncertainty. The North American, Central American and Caribbean Athletics Association, or NACAC, accepted the country's bid after St. Kitts and Nevis and Trinidad and Tobago withdrew from consideration. The Games' 54th edition will be the South American territory's first hosting of the event, despite submitting previous bids. Barbados has already been selected to host the 2028 Games. NACAC is expected to engage both countries to support early planning while continuing discussions with CARICOM leaders on a more sustainable framework for major youth sporting events in the Caribbean. In football, senior men's head coach Derek King has selected a mix of local and overseas-based internationals for a match against United Soccer League team Louisville FC on Saturday. The 20-man squad will be led by Justin Garcia. Pittsburgh Riverhounds player Caleb Borneo is among 7 uncapped players in the squad, which also includes 15-year-old Adasa Richardson, 17-year-old Jaden Caprietta, 19-year-old Josiah Ochoa, US-based winger Samari Powder, Diego Nanton of Switzerland's Veve Sports, and Sawa Jablete defender Rakim Kebi. The squad announcement comes after a locally based squad spent the last 3 weeks in training. The match is meant to assist in preparation for TNT's 2026-2027 CONCACAF Nations League campaign, which is carded to begin in September. Now, Executive Secretary of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, Yale Antwine, has revealed the TTPFL season will begin in September. It means that for another year, this country's CFU Club Shield and CONCACAF Caribbean Club teams, Prisons FC, Defence Force and Club Sando, will be out of season before beginning their respective campaigns. Antwine was a guest on CNC3's Morning Shot today, where he explained the decision.
Well, we're looking to start around September for the earliest, coming on to the mid to end September, as long as all things permitted and all funding comes through as we plan for it to come through. As long as those funds come in, we would be able to start and keep a calendar where the teams would be able to run directly into the regional competition.
Now, during the early morning interview, Antwine noted that since its formation 4 years ago, the dynamics of securing the government's financial support for the league have changed.
Over the years, I would say one of the major things between 2006 and now that persons may seem to overlook is that sport administration and sports in general has become a lot more administratively strong, in the sense where what may have been required for funding in 2006 is not what is required for funding now. There are quite a lot more hurdles that persons, NGBs, football associations, other associations would have to go through to access funding.
Switching pitches, batsman Kirk McKenzie has been recalled to the West Indies Test team for the 2-match series against Pakistan starting on Saturday. He comes in for the injured John Campbell. Ian Wason has more in this series preview.
The Brian Lara Cricket Academy is getting ready to host its first test and become the 146th test venue when West Indies and Pakistan play in the first test starting this Saturday. Coach Darren Sammy is hoping that the Brian Lara Cricket Academy can get a winning start for his team.
The preparation that we've put in just for this home series, we saw some good results against Sri Lanka. So hopefully the plan is to continue in that vein, practice, fine-tune some of the skills, have a feel of what the surface look like and what it may play, and hopefully we could come out and play a good game of test cricket over the next 5 days.
Pakistan has a slight lead in the head-to-head between the two teams, with 22 wins to West Indies 19, and 12 of them coming in the last 25 years. And in 19 series between the two, the visitors have won 6 series and West Indies won 5, the last in 2000, 26 years ago. This time around, West Indies will have to do without Alzari Joseph, who is out for personal reasons, John Campbell, who has not recovered from injury, and Anderson Phillip. In their absence, Joshua Bishop earned his maiden test call, and Kirk McKenzie benefits from a fruitful season. Sammy says while he has an idea of who plays on Saturday, there are 1 or 2 concerns, including the availability of skipper Ruston Chase.
Hopefully, fingers crossed that he's available, and every single person is available for selection, where we got all 15 guys we could select from.
Sammy also has to decide who holds the gloves, but he already has an idea.
I'm speaking to him. I'm trying to ask him for a couple more favors, because you got to also consider his workload, keeping in the other two formats and asking of him to score some real runs. So it's a conversation we'll have. I think knowing Shea, it will come out on the positive end of things for him taking up the gloves. But it's a conversation myself, Joshua De Silva, Ahmed Jangu have had about the way forward.
West Indies are currently 8th in the Test Championship standings, just above bottom-placed Pakistan on 9th. Ian Wason, CNC3 Sport.
Thanks, Ian. Now, the West Indies all-format coach was pleased with Tuesday's series-ending win over New Zealand, but disappointed with the 3-2 series loss. He said he wanted better results at home, having lost the last two home series. Sammy also praised Shimron Hetmeyer and Shafane Rutherford for their last-day performances, but called for more consistency.
And Hetty, the way he played with such maturity, that's I'm pretty sure not only me but the entire region and the West Indies fans. Innings like that you want to see more consistently. We know the Shea Hopes do that. But to see how Hetty played today was really pleasing.
The West Indies won the first match in Guyana before New Zealand won the next two ahead of the final two in Barbados, where the teams split the two matches, one each. The former West Indies captain admitted the series against the team ranked second in ODI cricket was difficult.
Guyana was tough. Did we play to our standards? No. But it was not through the lack of good preparation. I think New Zealand is number 2 for a reason. Well-drilled team, something that we are aspiring to be. But I never lose that positive attitude. And that's what I try to, instill and remind the guys.
Now let's take a look at international sporting developments.
The first of 3 brutal days in the French Alps delivered plenty of drama as Ecuador's Richard Carapaz produced a masterclass to claim stage 18 of the Tour de France. The EF Education Easy Post rider timed his attack to perfection, breaking away from the chasing pack to cross the line 45 seconds clear of Switzerland's Mauro Schmidt. While Carapaz celebrated stage glory, overall race leader Tadej Pogacar held firm in the yellow jersey by 4 minutes and 32 seconds over Belgium's Remco Evenepoel. In football news, the controversy surrounding Folarin Balogun's suspended World Cup ban continues to grow. The Norwegian Football Federation says it is considering a formal complaint to FIFA's Ethics Committee after the United States forward was cleared to play following intervention from US President Donald Trump. Norway joins Belgium and UEFA in questioning the decision, while the International Olympic Committee has also indicated it could review the matter involving FIFA President Gianni Infantino. FIFA, however, continues to maintain that its judicial bodies acted independently. And in Formula One, George Russell says this has been the most challenging season of his career as he looks to bounce back at this weekend's Hungarian Grand Prix. The Mercedes driver sits 50 points behind teammate Kimi Antonelli after a first-lap collision with Lewis Hamilton in Belgium, but says he remains confident the team has solved the technical issues that have hampered his title challenge. Samaki Felician, CNC3 Sport.
And thank you, Samaki. Now, Toivo Miro lobs his way into tonight's Sport High.
With HJK already 2 goals to the good against Coleraine, they weren't done yet. A defense-splitting pass found Toivo Miro in stride, and with ice in his veins, he dinked the ball delicately over the keeper to cap off a clinical move. Miro, for your composure and precise finish, you earn tonight's CNC3's Sport High.
All right, and we know what tomorrow's Sport High would be, given that there's a GML football match happening right here at the company's car park.
Yeah.
Jovan, are you playing?
It will be
No,
Jovan's goal.
My goal, right? I was trying to get you to read sport tomorrow so I could play.
Maybe I could do it and
sure.
ease you up.
Nice.
We'll see. Thank you so much, Jovan. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Breaking news. Something serious is sweeping the nation. Get seriously supersized savings on textiles, home goods, and much more in Jimmy Abood's Super Serious July Sale. Shop now at Jimmy Abood in Barataria and Port of Spain.
With the cold and flu lurking around every corner, keeping your immune system strong allows you to live the life that you want every day. Discover BioStrath Immune Health. BioStrath Immune Health is a unique plasmalized yeast product that enhances the absorption of essential micronutrients, ensuring that your body stays resilient. And now enriched with zinc, it is your go-to support for immunity. Staying vibrant and healthy just became a whole lot easier. BioStrath Immune Health. Get what you need naturally.
Here's a look at tonight's regional roundup.
CARICOM is calling for the renewal of the Gang Suppression Force mandate in Haiti. The regional organization warned that renewing the mandate is vital to prevent further instability as Haiti revises its electoral timetable. With elections originally planned for August delayed and voter registration only starting in July, officials are working on a new timeline. CARICOM also raises alarms over a worsening humanitarian crisis, citing increasing gang violence, gender-based attacks, and recruitment of young persons into criminal gangs. And regional carrier Sunrise Airways has officially launched direct service between Antigua and Barbuda and Barbados. The inaugural flight arrived at Grantley Adams International Airport on Wednesday, kicking off a twice-weekly schedule. And Washington is ramping up pressure on Havana with a new round of economic sanctions. The U.S. State Department announced new sanctions targeting Cuba's lucrative international medical missions program, along with government enterprises and Health Minister Jose Angel Portal Miranda. The medical program generates billions annually for the island's economy, deploying tens of thousands of healthcare workers worldwide. Angelo Chetidaya, CNC3 News.
Peruvian Ambassador Claudia Juliana Utiura says security cooperation between her country and TNT is likely to increase following the signing of a policy agreement to enhance safety across South America and the Caribbean. At a concert celebrating Peru's 205th anniversary at the Central Bank Auditorium last night, Utiura referred to Defense Minister Wayne Sturgis' visit to Cusco, Peru, to attend a conference of defense ministers, which she said would redound to tangible benefits across the region.
The resulting Cusco Declaration provides a renewed framework for hemispheric cooperation in areas such as organized crime, illicit economies, cybersecurity, humanitarian assistance, and disaster response. Minister Sturgis' participation was a concrete sign of the more active security dialogue that our countries are now developing.
Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Sean Sobers also attended the concert, noting that the government is eager to continue partnerships with Peru to enhance mutual trade, technological exchange, and security.
For more than 30 years, Junior Bisnath has kept hundreds of children off the street by teaching them the art of Mokojambi walking for free. Now his lifetime of service has again attracted international attention. The United Nations Development Program has pledged to explore ways of supporting his youth development work after resident representative Hugo Blanco visited Bisnath's home at Henry Street, San Fernando. Expressing praise for Bisnath's work, Blanco revealed the UNDP's plans to help young people.
The UN and UNDP, we are here to support the country Trinidad and Tobago to reach its full potential and to promote the culture and to find ways for the youth to channel all this energy, all this power in a good way. Yeah. And I think Mokojambis is a great approach to do that. And I think a lot of this can benefit the sustainable development of communities throughout the countries.
Bisnath, a Guinness World Record holder, made a rare request for assistance, saying his next dream is to complete his home and build a permanent museum to preserve Trinidad and Tobago's cultural heritage.
All I need right now in my lifetime, I have achieved so many things that I'm comfortable with. But my house, it is under construction, and my museum. If I get some building material, I'm not asking for money. If I get some building material, we could finish build our home, our museum, where lots of people will come and educate themselves.
Bisnat, whose students have performed as far as the FIFA World Cup, says his mission remains simple: to pass on his knowledge so the next generation of Trinidad and Tobago can keep the culture alive.
All right, it's time to recap our headlines. Homeland Security Minister lifts PDOs against Dominic and Genevieve Hadid following a total review of their case.
The opposition demands independent investigation into government's abuse of PDOs, saying heads must roll.
In sports, Carifta 2027 finally finds a home as Guyana steps up to fill the void.
Well, stay alert. Showers are increasing and parts of Trinidad could even hear a rumble of thunder tomorrow.
As we leave you, let's remind you to stay connected with us on our social media platforms.
There you'll find tonight's stories, the latest updates and exclusive content. And don't forget to pick up a copy of the TNT Guardian newspaper.
We've come to the end of the 7 p.m. news on CNC3. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ria Rambali.
I'm Ryan Beachu.
I'm Jovan Ravello.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed. Have a good night.